Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on this video. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to break the pattern. Usually I drop videos on Sunday, but this week I wanted to do an extra bonus video for you guys. The reason I'm doing that is for this video I'm going to break away from the homemade MREs for just a minute so that I can show you guys something that I found. Since I started doing the homemade MRE videos, I've gotten a lot of requests from people that are looking for low sodium options. People that have high blood pressure issues and such, or are just looking to kind of eliminate some sodium out of their diet. And while I haven't put one together just yet, I am still on the hunt for items to put into just such a homemade MRE. But I did come across something the other day that I forgot that I had that I wanted to show you. So a while back I was in a clearance liquidation store that's in my community, and they had crates of MREs from a company called Sopakco. I believe that's how you say it. I grabbed a box of them. I didn't really look that closely at it, but they had such a good price on it that I decided to go ahead and buy a case of them. Once I got home and took a closer look, I realized that I had picked up the reduced sodium MRE. So I figured since there have been so many requests for a lower sodium option to my homemade MREs, that I would give this one a try and then let you guys know if it's any good. If you can get MREs that are already made that have low sodium options available, this might not be a bad way to go. And if you can find them at a decent price point, this might be our solution. As I've said before, when I've started making the homemade MREs, it was because MREs tend to be expensive. These were not. These had a good price to buy a case. They also tend to be pre-packaged and might contain things you don't like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear into this thing. We're going to try out this MRE. We're going to see if it's any good and what all it has in it to see just how much I would end up throwing away if this was all I had. All right, so let's cut this thing open and see what's inside. The first thing in here that's sitting right on top is your standard MRE crackers. These tend to be pretty good. They're relatively unflavored and plain. It's like a saltine without the salt. Next up is our FRH. We're not going to have to rely on the Barrow cook to make this one because this meal comes with an FRH. So as long as it's working, we'll have hot food. Next thing I'm finding is a Tootsie Roll. Chocolate is pretty much a staple in MREs, and if you don't like chocolate, then there's a good chance you're going to find something in here you don't like. Tootsie Rolls are one of those things I can kind of take them or leave them, but I don't hate them. By the way, here's a little bit of useless, well, maybe not useless, but you know, here's a little bit of trivia for you when it comes to Tootsie Rolls. If you ever have mice in your house and you're trying to get rid of them, don't put cheese on your traps, don't put peanut butter on your traps. Put a Tootsie Roll on your traps. This is a guaranteed way to get mice into your trap, which also tells you don't want to leave them laying around your house. Next up, we have grape jelly. Looks like we might be having a PB&J in here. We have 2 packs of grape jelly. This must be really good grape jelly. I guess we'll find out. If you saw my 24-hour Walmart MRE the other day, I included something in there that I commented that they're pretty standard in US MREs. A couple of people had something to say about it, but just to prove I'm right, we have strawberry pop-tarts. And then we have our main, in this case, is beef ravioli in meat sauce. Now remember, we're talking about a reduced sodium variety, so this should be interesting trying this out, see if it's any good. And of course, there's the sleeve that has the nutritional information on it. Pause that and look back at it if you'd like. And last but not least, we have our accessory pack. Accessory pack contains a very ordinary plastic spoon, salt and pepper, because in your low sodium MRE, you're gonna need some extra salt. We have Papa's Perfect salt-free seasoning. So if we need extra seasoning, we're going to try this and see if it's any good. And we have a napkin. So there's one thing that is glaringly absent, or actually maybe 2 things that are glaringly absent in this MRE. Before I go any further, if you've already spotted it, drop a comment below and tell me, what did they forget to put in this MRE that you would absolutely want in there? So the first thing that we need to do is get our main going with our FRH. So let's do that real quick. All right, so while we're cooking up our main, let's give some of these other things a try. First thing, of course, being our crackers. Did you hear the hiss? Steve would be proud. So when you're opening up these crackers, you almost have to just cut the packaging completely away if you want to get them out in anything that resembles one piece. If you just slice the top, try to pull them out, they're going to fall apart. Here we are. Got a little chunk came off right there. Yep, pretty standard, unsalted saltines, very plain, a little dry. And what do we have to put on there? Grape jelly. I kind of feel like there was supposed to be a peanut butter and a jelly, but somebody accidentally packed 2. Sopakco, that sounds like a quality control issue. Good thing I like grape jelly. Let's see how it is. It's very runny. Ooh, wow. All right, let's give it a try. It's good as far as grape jelly goes. It's got a little bit of that grape jelly sharpness to it. Sweet, super runny. Should have kneaded the package up a little bit. So one issue with the crackers is they smell like they might be just starting to kind of go off. As I go to take a bite, that smell that hits my nose is the cracker more than anything. It's got a very strange smell to it. Remember the salt and flour dough that kids make in like kindergarten, and they make projects that they send home to hang on the Christmas tree? It's kind of what this smells like. But when you're hungry, you're willing to overlook those things. He's coming out in a little bit better clumps now. All right, so our next item to try is our MRE issued strawberry pop-tarts. I'm guessing they're just pretty standard pop-tarts. Yep, I mean, it's got the regular packaging. It's not even a specialized pack. They are kind of stuck together though. All right, let's pull off a piece here because they're stuck together to the point that they broke trying to get them apart. These also smell like they're just kind of starting to go off a little. Yeah, they kind of have that smell like they've been stored in somebody's basement for way too long. Oh. Oh. Oh, no. No. Incredibly stale, incredibly old tasting. This tastes like grandma's attic. Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, really making me look forward to the main. Wow. God, that was so bad. Whew, I'm hoping that this does not come back to haunt me later. All right, so let's get our main out of the sleeve, and we have another issue. One of the problems with military MREs and buying them on a civilian market is the failure rate for flameless ration heaters is notorious. I've had a few viewers comment that they would like to see me try the MREs cold. You're gonna get your wish, because the flameless ration heater failed epically. Not even slightly warm. It did not get going. I really regret that I left the barrel cook at home today and didn't bring it with me, because I do not like cold food. I don't like eating anything cold if it's not supposed to be eaten cold. But it looks like I'm going to be eating low sodium ravioli cold. Thanks, guys. With the issue with the Pop-Tarts, I'm really concerned about this. Pray for me, guys. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, yeah, that's lovely. All right, so you want to see what low sodium military MRE ravioli looks like? There you go, right there. It looks like tiny little raviolis. So it's not just something where somebody threw some pasta chunks and some meat sauce in and called it ravioli. It's actually little raviolis. And it doesn't smell awful. I mean, it's about the same as any canned ravioli in the way that it smells. Let's give it a taste. Oh, the things I do for you guys. Right now, I'm really missing my homemade MREs. There it is, I said it. All right. Going in. I don't know if it's that it's cold or it's just not very good. The flavor's not great. Now, if I were starving, would this be great? Yeah, absolutely. I could definitely overlook the room temperature preparation or the fact that the flavor's a little weird. I can definitely taste though that it is low sodium. There's not a lot of flavor here. So I'm gonna try that seasoning pack. Try this Papa's Perfect no salt seasoning. See if it helps. Looks kind of like Mrs. Dash or something like that. It's actually a really pleasant seasoning blend, but it's very mild smelling. Definitely doesn't have any real kick to it. It's just, I guess, designed just to bring out a little bit of extra flavor. And let's try a bite of that. So at first, the seasoning really kind of accents the taste of the ravioli, but it's got kind of a metallic aftertaste to it that lets me know it's artificial. Yeah, that's not my favorite. Not a huge fan of that. So far, this is not something I would call a win. The depressing thought is that I have a bunch of this at home in a bucket. So I'll give those out to people I don't like if they show up at my house when the apocalypse happens. All right, so let's try out our Tootsie Roll, see how it has fared. Got good color, looks good, hasn't oxidized. It's not all melted, smells fine. As we found out with a couple other things, it's the taste that matters. Once again, it just tastes old. I don't think these are terribly old. I'm going to do a little bit of research and find out when these things were made, and if I do, I'll pop it up here so that you can kind of see. This is the kind of thing that I talk about when I caution people from relying heavily on military MREs for your prepping stock. They're fine if you're rotating things, and they're fine if you're going out on camping trips that you need simple things to bring with you, but once these things have sat up for a little bit, the individual components start to go bad. The fact is, MREs have a shelf life, and if you want to fight me about that, then come at me. But the fact is, it's not long-term storage food. MREs were designed to be compact, easy to carry, and be eaten readily even without being able to cook it. They were not designed to put in a basement and keep it there for 10 years and hope that it's going to be okay when the apocalypse hits. And today's test is a shining example of that. Everything in there tasted old. It tasted like it had gone off. I'm really hoping that this doesn't come back to get me because I'm supposed to be working at a special event tonight. I do not need to be sick for that event. I'm sorry guys that I did not bring you a solution to your low sodium MRE needs. I would not recommend this one. If you can find it fresh, it might work. What I've always found is that when a company substitutes for one thing, they usually substitute it poorly with something else that's just as bad. And in this case, they substitute for high sodium items by packing sugar into this thing. We had pop-tarts, we had 2 packs of grape jelly, we had a Tootsie Roll, and we had a Maine and some crackers. So we took out some salt and we added a bunch of sugar. Definitely not a good plan for anyone. And for all of you out there that are asking me about diabetic-friendly MREs, once again, this is what we run into. You take one thing out, they put something else in it that's equally bad. But that's going to be it for this test of the reduced sodium Sopakco MRE. Not a fan, will not be buying any more of these things, and I can't really say that I would recommend it to you. I am going to continue on my journey to find low sodium options to put in my homemade MREs, and once I find something that I think is worthy enough to bring to you guys, you will see it. I promise. So I hope you enjoyed this little bonus video for this week, and until the next one, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. We'll see you around.